Hello, good evening. Welcome to the first edition of Journalist Hangout for the week. I am Jones Hussein, sitting in for Ayo, who is making his way gradually from Anambra State. But hanging out with me this evening would be Mayor Akikpelu. Mayor, I greet you.
Thank you.
I haven't seen you in a long while.
Yeah, I've been around.
Yeah. Okay, great to have you.
Same here.
Of course, Babajide Otitoji is here. I greet you.
I greet you too.
Now, Anambra is the major discussion for the evening. Please stay with us. And you want to ask what actually happened in Anambra State. That and many more questions will be broached this evening. Please stay. Once again, welcome. Now, the Anambra governorship polls has just come and gone. What actually happened? Why did we have low voter turnout? What are the issues begging for urgent attention? There are many questions to ask. And of course, I think these are questions on almost everybody's lips. Gentlemen, let's go straight to business. I have here 448,771 total number of votes cast, but accepted votes 442. In a state of nearly 4.5 million, that figure is a far cry from what we expected.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a shame, really. It's a shame, really, that only 20% of the registered voters came out to vote. It's been a consistent pattern in Nigeria that on election day, people simply stay away. And when you look at the pain that getting registered involves, the pain involved in getting registered, you ask yourself, why go through all that pain and refuse to come out on election day? Because if you look at in 2012, the minority elected the governor of Ondo State. The same thing happened 4 years later. So it's really getting to the point when you have to be worried. What is happening? The youths especially, young people, didn't want to have anything to do with this last election. They simply stayed away. So, and the youths have a voting strength that Nigeria, they are not exploiting, because they account for 65% of the Nigerian population.
Do they register to vote?
A lot of them are registered to vote, and a lot do not register. But it still does not take away their strength, their capacity to influence who governs them.
Yeah.
If they will stop being apolitical and get involved in the political process, the youth will be able to determine who becomes the president of Nigeria. But as things stand, it's like they don't want to get involved in electoral matters. This last election, we had a young person on the ballot in Tony Nwoye. And a lot of us felt that, well, Tony will be able to get a lot of the votes of the young people. But they stayed away. So on the queues, we saw a good number of old men, a lot of them retirees, and civil servants, and all that, which must have influenced the solid performance of the incumbent governor, because that is the voting bloc that appeals to him. So I'm disappointed that the turnout was this low, and especially the fact that the young people stayed away once again.
Mayor, is it possible to take an overview of the process vis-a-vis INEC preparations and so on?
Yeah, let me start with the low turnout. I think part of the problem with turnout is that the actual voters are not those that are registered to vote. In Nigeria, our politicians have a way of mobilizing people to register. So people do not, because they mobilize people to register. Some people do register in an area where they don't reside or domicile. There are people who, so when, on the day of actual voting, because there is restriction to movement, you don't get the kind of numbers that you expect. That is one. Two, I think INEC did very well so far, because at a time, we felt some elections that were conducted, there were many mistakes, and it seems that INEC, that the level has dropped considerably. But in this particular election, they seems to have gotten it right, and everybody seems to be free and fair. And then it's also a victory for democracy, because if there is a government in power on the national level, and that government can be defeated in an election, in a free and fair election, it shows that we are getting more matured.
Yeah.
We don't, it's not like the local government elections where everybody must win, the ruling party must win. So for ABGA to win in that kind of state is a plus for democracy.
It's a statement.
Yes, it's a statement. It shows we are getting better in conducting elections, and people's decisions count. And then again, I think it also underlines the fact that Godfatherism in politics is gradually waning, yes. Because Obi was supposed to be the godfather of Obiano. He installed him, he campaigned for him. They had a disagreement, he campaigned against him. He was so sure of himself that, look, I put you there, and I will campaign and remove you. Yes, but he was defeated even in his own local government, which shows that the powers of the so-called godfathers no longer as visible as it used to be. And that is one of the reasons why we have to commend INEC, because it's not as if rigging, I think to considerable degree, rigging, because if you see that all the top shots in Anambra are lost in their local governments. All the top shots. So it shows that the kind of razzmatazz they used to do doesn't work anymore.
Gidi, so now we can talk about, break these things down. In the build-up, we thought incumbency was not going to play a part here. Otherwise, Obiano was a sentimental favorite. But here he is. And then you have a Tony Nwoye, who has accepted the outcome, and the PDP contestant Oseloka Obaze saying, no, the result had been predetermined.
Yeah, it's,
same of the same.
You know the problem with the PDP.
If you tell me.
The primaries of the PDP in 2015 was so acrimonious that at least 19 persons who took part in the governorship primaries of the PDP in December 2014 eventually ended up in the APC, and they are governors today. That's to tell you, yes, that in the PDP, because of impunity and all that, the manner in which candidates emerge always ensures that that candidate will find it difficult to win the main prize. Oseloka emerged, but other people contested with him were not happy. And from the evidence that we see, those guys went to campaign for the incumbent. In fact, one of them came out openly, Ifeanyi Uba, campaigned, he spent money, to ensure that the...
Campaigned against his candidate.
Of his own party. Ifeanyi Uba went, teamed up with Bianca Ono, Ojukwu's wife. Ojukwu's son defected to the APC.
APC, yes.
But in Unewe, where they all came from, Ojukwu's son was defeated. Bianca and Ifeanyi Uba managed to deliver to the incumbent. So the incumbent governor won in all the local governments.
I've seen it. He
did better than his first time.
Yes, he won. Clearly, you see, Peter Obi came up with a smart policy. Ensure that salaries get paid regularly. Ensure that pensioners do not suffer in any form.
You mean Obiano?
Peter Obi.
Peter Obi. Okay,
who installed
Obiano.
Now,
Obi.
Obi built on that. That's why they nicknamed him the alert governor. What people don't realize is that
Who's the alert governor?
Ebiano.
Obiano.
Oh, Obiano,
Okay.
really?
Ebiano, the nickname.
Because the alert will
The alert
always
will
come.
come. It will come. You can expect it. And pensioners too will get paid. When you pay these people regularly, you are showing them that you value them. You think that they are of tremendous value to you. You think that they have self-worth. When you fail to pay, it is the other way around. When they start thinking that you do not value them, that they do not have self-worth, because you do not think they deserve to be paid a salary, then on election day, they will work against you. It happens. The failure of Suswam in Benue, when he contested for the senatorial seat, you know, because Suswam was owing up to 7 months' salary. So in Benue State, they refused they rejected his candidate. They also rejected him because he too entered the race. Yeah. He entered the senatorial race. They also rejected. So when you don't pay salaries regularly, it's bound to affect you as a governor. And then if, as a governor, you pay regularly, the people would do their best to ensure that you get a second term.
Mayor, but I'm getting a little worried here. If the thing has to do with, oh, you pay salaries regularly and you're not owing pensioners and all that, if that's becoming the new statement, then something is still wrong with our democracy.
Not really. Apart from that, I think Obiano did quite well in his first term in terms of infrastructure,
Security.
in terms of sorry?
Security.
Yes, security.
It changed the way they kidnappers.
Yes, in terms of security, in terms of agricultural development.
Yeah.
So relatively, when you look at his government, when you add that to being mindful of what civil servants and pensioners in a more or less, yes, apart from because Anambra, Enugu, is a combination of traders and civil servants. So if you provide security, you provide an environment for business to thrive, you encourage agriculture to thrive, and you bring in investments into because as an investment banker, I was able to attract some investments to Anambra State. So when you look at his scorecard, he did relatively well.
Yeah, we also talk about an enabling environment.
Yes.
So not just for your electoral fortunes, but for the fortunes of the everyday Anambrarian.
Yes, because a trader, for example,
in
Onitsha, is doing well. He wants security so that people will not kidnap him and he has to pay ransom. He wants to go to his market and let his business thrive. So if you provide infrastructures for him, it will help his business. If you encourage agriculture, that will be able to expand the economy in the state. You understand? So he talked in a lot of different spheres that there's something for everybody in that party. In his government, there's something for everybody. So that's why the opposition. That's why the opposition, because Obi campaigning against him is something that is, because Obi was two-time governor, somebody that brought him from the bank and installed him. So for him to be able to overcome all that, the people must have seen, like I said too, part of the problem is that he used them vote. And then when you look at civil servants and the elderly and the more matured people, they will more or less want ABGA, which is like the party. And then we must not also overlook IPOD, their influence in this election. For whatever is worth.
You think it had any influence?
No, because they asked people to boycott the election. The voters, we had about 20% of it. So it's possible that some people listened to them. And if people,
Mayor, that's a little debatable.
Yeah, it's debatable. That's what I'm saying.
Even in the last election, the turnout was low. If you look at the figures
but
of the
election
last
has always been low, though. Election has always been low. I agree with that.
It's not like...
Yeah. We'll go on a commercial break, but please stay. This is Journalist Hangout on TVC. We'll be back shortly. Journalist Hangout, and the focus this evening, Anambra elections. Yeah, gentlemen, let's, we talked about defection. He mentioned defection in passing, but we might go into it. Since we had played down, the big money spenders, or Godfatherism, we can talk about defection becoming a non-issue gradually, because and Ojukwu, Emeka Ojukwu Jr. defecting at the last minute ordinarily should have been the gain of the APC.
Yes, but the APC is yet to become that strong in the Southeast. It will take a while. I think by the time the president has promised a lot of infrastructural projects in that area, by the time the people begin to see those projects, like the second Niger bridge, for example, if they expedite work on the project and people begin to see concrete things being done for them, because the people have for long seen themselves as marginalized, oppressed people. So, but if the current government begins to take development to the Southeast, they see those bad roads being fixed, they see the second Niger bridge being built.
And perhaps the Lagos-Calabar rail line, which will touch.
Yes, they've already promised that it will touch part of the Southeast. Of course, there should have been no reason to exclude the Southeast, because a lot of them are traders. They move goods and from one part of the country to another. So, when with some of the big people joining the APC, people like Andy Uba, and the rest of them joining the APC, and with the APC bringing development to the Southeast, then the people will begin to think that this is a party for them and not just a party for the other parts of Nigeria. Because for now, the APC is not very strong in the Southeast. It is not in position to win elections. All the predictions that Onwoye will win were far-fetched. There was no way Onwoye would have won. If you even look at the voting pattern, you see that the governor
the governor polled 233,000 and Onwoye 98,000.
Yes. That's about 3 times.
3 times the figure.
So the APC has not reached the point when it can begin to win states in the Southeast. But I'm saying that if the government goes out of its way and brings development to this part of the country, in no time, that mindset will change. But it's too soon now. And incumbency factor in our politics, you can't wish it away. It is rare for a godfather, the godfather, to defeat even someone that he put there. Apart from people like Saraki's Olusola Saraki, who did it to Adamata in 1983. And that was because even the UPN was very strong. The UPN was so strong in the old Kwara that they always rigged them out of victory in every election. J.S. Olaoye was strong.
Rig.
Yes.
Use it loosely.
Yes. Yes. Rigging is a fixture of our elections. Especially back then.
Back then, yes. Rigging
was bare-faced rigging.
Yes,
I saw bare-faced rigging.
Ballot
snatching was common.
There was a lot of things.
But if you look at this last election now,
centers,
it was, in fact, ballot boxing, ballot snatching rarely happened in Anambra. Apart from when the returning officers were giving their testimonies and they were saying, oh, somebody was arrested here where he tried to snatch ballot. We didn't even know that those things were happening. So as long as we continue to sanitize our electoral process, it will be difficult to rig. And no matter you are a money bag, no matter how rich you are, it will be difficult for you to influence the outcome of an election. It belongs to that.
Mayor, but my trouble here is we are said to be a nascent democracy, but we are staying too long in the classroom and we're traveling slowly. We're making haste slowly.
We'll get there. We'll get there because...
you don't want to see it in your lifetime?
We're going to see... already we're saying it. We've seen a situation where one government is handing over to another government. We've seen a situation where an opposition government wins the election, comes into power. We've seen where an incumbent government, a regional party like Kabga, has been able to retain their base and not muzzled out by the national government.
ABGA is just... Let's even stretch that logic. ABGA is only strong in Anambra State.
Because it is a regional party. ABGA was like the old AC.
Out of 5 states?
No, because ABGA is like the old AC or AD, when
Okay.
AD was. You know, sometimes all over the world, there are some parties that want to just concentrate in their own sphere of influence. Let us concentrate on our sphere of influence and determine our future ourselves. There are parties like that. They may not move
so you are saying
because
it would
ABGA
have
used to be
been-
ABGA
would
used to
have-
be in Anambra and Imo until the governor of Imo now switched to APC.
Yeah.
And they could have just stayed in Incumbency and moved from there. You understand? So there will be other parties. We should even encourage parties like that.
You think that Anambra is Ojuku's home state,
Yes.
and ABGA is seen as Ojuku's
Yes,
party.
at least
You
Ojukwu.
know, when Ebiano moves around, he moves around with that material, that Ankara material.
Yes.
Okay,
With
okay.
Ojuku's picture
Yeah.
on it and all
That's
that.
it.
So,
As a matter of fact, when you cross from Asaba to Onitsha,
start
you see
seeing-
this large effigy of Ojuku.
yes.
On it, I said it last week, you know, ABGA, Nka bụ nke anyị, this one now our own.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the people have gotten really nostalgic about this. Ojuku, our man, this is the party that he bequeathed to us. So for some of them who are really, really nostalgic, they do not want to see ABGA die. And that's and how do you stop ABGA from dying? Even if ABGA is unable to win legislative seats and all that, as long as it retains the governorship of the state, the name ABGA will not die because they have a control state, you know. So that is the way it is.
And
And
I wish we had an Igbo here. I mean, when we're told that the Igbo country is Republican in nature, and so I kind of cannot break it down. Republicanism in 2017.
No, I don't.
Are they still saying that?
I don't believe. I don't
Well,
believe.
that's the impression you get.
I don't believe. No, I don't believe in that argument. That was just old cliches. I don't think it applies now. But when you're talking about ABGA, that is why I think Obi made a fundamental mistake, because ABGA was supposed to, when Ojukwu was leaving, he bequeathed ABGA to Obi. Obi was like the...
Was it to Obi or to
No,
Igbo?
to Igbo. But Obi then, as the governor of Anambra State, was like the face of ABGA. It was the moving spirit behind ABGA. I think it is wrong politics of him to abandon that place where it was the face of the party, the leader of the party, to go and join PDP.
He had no choice at that time.
Yeah,
He had no choice because shortly after...
No choice.
I don't agree with that.
leave ABGA.
I will tell you what happened.
Okay.
I'll tell you what happened because this, as a tabloid reporter, this was something that we delved extensively into. After Obiano became governor, they started having this friction.
That's Obiano
Two
and
of
Peter.
them,
Obiano
yeah.
and
So early in the day, almost as fast as it happened between Chimaroke Namani and Sullivan Chima.
Yeah.
So when the meeting was called, the elders called the meeting that, look, we must find peace. You are the two leaders in this state. You can't be quarreling. Soon it will become, it will breed violence. So the governor now said, well, he should then they should leave the party for him. That as long as he remains in the party, that two captains cannot be in the same boat or ship. So at that point, he took the decision to leave the party for him. That's the man that he brought to power. He brought him even into the bank.
Yeah.
And then gave him this on a platter. He negotiated with the PDP back then. He supported Jonathan in the presidential election and all that, just so that the PDP would not use federal might to take Anambra state from him and stop Obiano from emerging. So he played that politics. When it became clear that he had no choice, then he had to leave the
party.
The party for him.
Yeah, I'm not supporting Obiano because I believe that what Obiano did, to me, is an act of betrayal. Because if somebody, you were just a director in a bank, in fact, the same Osalokat was supposed to be Obaze was supposed to be the candidate. Something happened along the line. What I learned, it may not be correct, was that the two brothers, the Obaze brothers, who were, one was I think secretary, one was commissioner for special duties, the other one was secretary to the government, they didn't want to concede it to each other, and Obi had to now bring a neutral person.
Which is a major problem with the Igbo country.
Yes, they didn't want to concede anything, so they had to now bring, they had to bring this guy from the bank. But you see, when somebody brings you from the bank, at the time when you didn't really understand how politics was, campaigned for you, made you governor, it's unfair for you to, because the other day I was reading when he was saying, you know, during this campaign, they were talking about themselves, how he asked for 7 billion and all that. And I look at it that somebody that invested...
He even claimed that he did not save money.
Yes, somebody that invested so much in your career path in making you governor, why would you want to destroy that person?
But aren't you troubled? If you're not, I am troubled that I would, underline, bring you from a particular place to be governor. So what's the role of the people here? So it's not about the people.
No, that's how it's done. That's how it's done.
It's about the people.
All over the world?
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yes, because
the power people will nominate.
Yes, nominate. The people, you don't pick a governor from the street.
The voting is what determines if you are going to make me governor.
Yes.
So
yes.
At the end of the day,
it's just like,
the power still rests with the people.
Yes, it's just like
but
in Lagos.
But it cannot materialize from nowhere.
It's just like in Lagos.
Oh, somebody must
People
sponsor
must,
you.
somebody, you will hand out, you will hand out somebody, you will know you cannot just leave governance of a state to anybody.
Okay. I think if we need to tell ourselves the truth, once you made a bad choice.
Sorry, we'll go on this break. We'll go on this break and return. Okay, then, welcome back. Anambra still on our mind. After the election, so many fallouts, we must latch on to them, just so you know. Gentlemen, before the break, we talked about this Godfatherism. I mean, if you made me, let me be. Yes. That's the music we seem to be hearing now.
Yeah.
So a governor can break loose, if he so desires, from the Godfather.
It's been happening for some time. From the Second Republic, we've seen that happen. In Kwara, Adamu Ata fell apart fell out with Olusola Saraki. And Olusola Saraki, when Olusola Saraki saw clearly that the national headquarters of the MPN would give Adamu Ata the ticket, he pretended like the whole thing was over. Shagari led other leaders of the MPN to the stadium in Kwara, and they had a rally about 3 days to the election. They called it a reunion rally. Everybody was happy. They felt the quarrel had been settled. After they left, Olusola Saraki called his supporters and told them to go and vote for the candidate of the UPN. The candidate of the UPN at that time was Cornelius Adebayo, who later became a communications minister. So at the end of the day, he contrived to make sure that Adamu Ata didn't get a second term. Abubakar Rimi fell out with Aminu Kano. You know, Rimi had to leave the party to join the NPP, you know, and Rimi, they made sure that Rimi didn't win the election. But governors are so powerful now that they are the ones who chase their own godfathers out of the party. In Gombe,
I guess the word here is installation, because they are always...
Once they are installed, they
must
become
install
powerful.
the man who takes over.
No, once a governor, the power broker installs someone, that person becomes governor, he becomes so powerful. He sees no need to begin to pander to the man who put him there. So he wants to be his own man.
Yeah, that's what I meant, because who succeeds him must be determined by the governor.
Yes.
And not a godfather somewhere.
So that's how the governors think. Now, the governor of Gombe was installed by Senator Danjuma Goje, but Danjuma Goje and the governor fell out almost immediately. Dankwambo became governor, and then that quarrel began. After that, Danjuma Goje went to the APC, and the governor remained in the PDP.
Yeah.
But Goje couldn't stop Dankwambo from getting the second term. He won the second term on the platform of the PDP.
Yeah.
The former governor of Nasarawa State was installed by a man who used to be the MD of PPMC during the Abacha era. Very rich man from that state. He installed him as soon as he became governor. They quarreled.
It was good night. Yeah.
Yes, they quarreled. So this thing continues to happen. Remember also one of the most famous cases, Chimaroke Namane and Jim Nwobodo. In fact, they were using talks to chase one another around. Chimaroke Namane succeeded in running Nwobodo and the supporters out of Enugu at that time. Less than a month after he became governor, he was practicing as a doctor in the US. He brought him to become governor, but they fell apart. The same thing was what Sullivan Chime did to Chimaroke Namane. The day Sullivan Chime became governor of Enugu State, he began to quarrel with Chimaroke Namane. In fact, some of Namane's supporters who were in government, he evicted them from government quarters.
Mayor, you even talked about Kano.
Yeah, it's the same thing in Kano, because if you see, Ganduje used to be the closest person to Kwankwaso. They've always been together. One of the exceptional cases where you will see that you will install somebody that was supposed to be a deputy, but now they are not even saying eye to eye.
He was the only one who allowed his deputy to succeed.
He's the only one that allowed
the governor.
Yes, the only governor that allowed his deputy to succeed him. But now they don't even say eye to eye. Even their supporters and they are in the same party.
Okay, sorry, I must take Adewale from Lagos. Adewale, good evening. Welcome.
Good evening, my brother.
Yeah.
May God continue to prosper all of you there.
Amen.
Okay then.
I thank you for what all of you are doing. God bless Nigeria.
Bless you too.
This question of voters apathy, I think it will continue for some time. One, people are erroneously thinking that the result is already predetermined, and it's a mistake on the part of the voters. Because we can see from what happened now that the result is the actual position of the voters. And if there is a way we can reduce the long queues and the method of voting, when you register, you go back home and then you come back at some time, if it can be regulated, if there can be some sort of adjustment,
it will save us time and all that.
Then please, for God's sake, can we join hands with me in saving lives?
In what?
In saving lives. In our hospitals. There are things that are happening in our world. A few days ago, in fact, the patient is still there. Today, the workers locked out people. My sister went to prepare, my cousin went to prepare food for patients. If she was disallowed from entering Federal Medical Center or war.
Okay.
Just because people there, the cleaners there, people that will pack blood, pack waste, this and that, and clean the place, they are being hold 20 months salary.
Okay.
10,000 naira per month, 20 months. The same thing is happening at this specialist hospital in Lagos.
Okay, gentlemen, that's the tragedy of our country. I mean, in 2017, we are having to report things like this to the
Yeah,
outside world.
but it's a tragedy because when you don't pay people for 20 months and you expect them to work and take care of their family, in a state where the governor of that state has millions as security votes, it's so unfair.
Now, let's go to the first half of Adewale's submission. He talked about the process. Now, on Friday, we mentioned the e-voting, which had been on the cards for a while now. I think we should join the fray. E-voting can save us time. Long queues, which he talked about. And of course, this process of locking down a state because you are holding an election.
I agree with that because I think that's a part of the problem. Because its points was very germane. That is one of the reasons why it's so difficult to vote. Sometimes you can find yourself that you register in a particular place. I remember, for example, that when there is an election, I used to travel to Ikorodu. I will stay in an hotel so that I can vote. Because I register in Ikorodu, yes. Okay. So anytime there's an election, I have to travel to Ikorodu, I have to check in, I have to then go vote, then come back to Lagos. So, but if you can create a situation where people can vote, where voting can happen in about 3-4 days or 5 days, you can go there and vote at your convenience. I think we'll be able to do better than that.
Even from your office, you can.
Yes. But you see, the problem is that when you look at the Nigerian factor, I can understand why.
I think it's so
Nigerian factor.
It's not so much Nigerian factor.
I know because once that it will be easier to manipulate.
Once our electoral process takes on a scientific complexion,
yes,
this whole thing will change. India is projected to outstrip China in terms of population.
Yeah, currently 1.4.
2025.
Now, 4 billion, yeah.
Now, if India conducts an election today, that same day the winner will be known.
Because it is e-voting.
Yes. Yeah. So if we adopt technology as a means of choosing our leaders, we just have to invest in it. I'm sure it will cost us so much, but it will also change our country because we'll be able to pick the right leaders who will work for the people, knowing that the people can change them at any point in time because the fidelity of the process will be assured. Nobody can tamper with the outcome. It is who the people want that will emerge.
Yeah.
So that way, a good leadership will naturally emerge from our country.
We have Peter from Kaduna on the line. Peter, good evening. Good to have you.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Thank you very much. You are doing a good job. I don't want to contribute to what the last caller said. I'm very, very happy for my nation, Nigeria. But we are still living in a world where, because of election, I have to move from one place to the other, not considering the hazard. For example, the last presidential election, I was still a youth copper. So at that time, I registered in Kaduna. Unfortunately, before the election, I was back to Lagos where I reside. And due to that, I was completely disenfranchised from casting my vote, exercising my fundamental right. So I want to appeal using this medium. Please, you put effort, talk to the government. Nigeria has come up. Let's leave this issue of vote registering in one place, and because of just you registered there, you must cast your vote in. Because people to travel from east to west during election period. And most times, lives are lost. So please, that's what my contribution.
Yeah.
Let the government do something about this registering here, and because you register in some ward or local government, you just have to cast your vote there. While we have some print and voter cards. I don't see what are the use of those.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Many thanks. Again, brings us, we must talk about it. The electoral laws, the National Assembly should help us. I think we cannot but ask.
No, I think the best way to go is what Jide said. We have to invest enough money on technology to be able to, that is the best way, that's the way to go. Because part of the problem, if you notice that anytime we try to take a step forward, we try to improve on things, because when you look at the card reader and all that, we're trying to improve on things, but it's just that We are just moving forward slowly. There is a need.
Traders were not so.
Yeah, we're not so. Yes, they were not so effective, but it was a very good idea. So we must invest more in technology so that people can vote
will
anytime.
It ever work? Chide, will it
Of
ever?
course it will work. We're getting better.
You mean the card reader?
No,
Going
the process.
electronic, improving on the process,
Well,
will it ever come to be in our lifetime?
I don't want to be a doomsday prophet. I want to believe that if it works for Botswana, if it works for
South Africa,
if it works for the Indians, they should be able to work for us. Today, there's nothing like rigging an election in South Africa. In fact, I remember the municipal elections. Those communities where some of the biggest anti-apartheid leaders were born, they lost. ANC lost.
Yeah, because of the new party.
The ANC lost because the people were not happy and all that. You see, what a technologically driven electoral process will give us is faith in the system. Our people, a lot of them who do not want to get involved in the electioneering process, once they know that their votes will count, they will get more involved. All these women that you see watching telenovela during election who do not bother themselves about election, they will become more politically aware because they know that they can play a part in choosing who leads them. So we must invest in it, no matter what it costs. We must invest in it. We must find the right technology that suits our system, that is good for our climate, that will enable us to choose the right leaders. And Nigeria will progress as a result.
Okay, Mayor, now we talk about the youth taking over, and I don't
Which
believe
youth?
that. The youth of this
Nigerian
country.
youth?
Oh, come on, hold on. Let me build it. There's no such thing as a Nigerian-type democracy, okay? So we are not a special breed of people.
Yeah.
The new age, the new technology can work here. But the trouble is the Nigerian who manipulates the system. So okay, if you, please, I'll take it on very quickly. Robert Mugabe is digging in Zimbabwe. Mm-hmm. That is not what the people wanted, but it would appear the Zimbabweans are okay with the man.
No, not true.
Okay, so
not true.
why are they not chasing him out?
No, they are doing that.
So bring that home.
No, they are doing that. Okay. Because the problem they have in South Africa, they have in Zimbabwe rather,
yes,
is that the military people, the military in Zimbabwe, they are very intelligent people. They wanted to change the man, but they have to look at the process. If they plan a coup, but if they call it a coup, they cannot succeed because there is a law.
That's it.
There is a law governing the South African states to say if there is a coup somewhere, the states have the right to move against that state. So countries like South Africa will have the right to attack Zimbabwe and install and return Mugabe.
Okay.
But what they've done,
but not in sub-Saharan Africa, no.
No, they're not. Even the African Union has that.
It's beginning to happen.
It happened in Gambia. If you remember in Gambia, there was an election in Gambia, and then the man refused to go. And the West African states, the ECOWAS states, Buhari sent soldiers there, Senegal sent soldiers, and the guy agreed to leave. But that's what...
our fighter jets flew
that's what I'm saying.
They flew low on his house. He was scared.
So what the guys are doing is to say, okay, let's put this man under pressure so that he can resign. And then we can say constitutionally he resigned and handed over to something. And they've done that. They've gone to the party. The party has removed him as head of the party. And normally, constitutionally, it's the party that has the right to
left with the Senate.
So
they brought back, and the party has already given him to tomorrow to say, okay, if you don't resign by tomorrow, we will instruct our members to impeach you. So what the soldiers have done is to take power from him without calling it a coup. I said, no, it's not a coup. We just realized that there are things that are happening and we want to correct those things.
And that's why he has been saying, look, I was democratically elected, wait for my term to end.
Yes, and they were saying...
And if they are to wait for his term to end...
So they're putting pressure on him to resign, which he's going to. I mean, the news today claimed that he has already accepted with the negotiation.
It's speculation.
Yeah, it's speculation, but that's what I'm saying, speculation. But I can assure you that he will leave because he has lost power. ultimately
So,
as aspire.
did they
So
bring
in our
that-
own case,
Yes,
when
yes.
you look at our own, what is important, I said it in order for that, part of the problems that we have in Nigeria is that we don't get involved enough in the process. You, me, him, most people, we sit down in the comfort of our homes, we don't like what is happening, we criticize it, you understand, but we are not inside.
We are not doing anything
We are
about
not
it.
inside. So I think the only way we can solve this problem, if we want good governance in this country, is for us to get involved more.
Yeah.
Imagine if Jide or you or myself, imagine if we attend a political meeting or a meeting of a political party.
Okay.
We'll be able to say things there. People will take us seriously. But the problem is that we don't get involved. So we left politics in Nigeria to people who, most of them are not serious.
Jide, I don't know. I hope I'm not. I'm the only one that's wrong here. Years gone by, political parties had people join as joiners.
Yes.
You paid dues. You were members of political parties, but not anymore.
And candidates were sponsored
Sponsored
by
by
parties.
That's
Because
it.
at that time,
Today-
Nigeria was still good then.
Today-
Now,
today.
it's money
No, it's-
banks
yes.
that are funding parties.
And it is at the heart of party indiscipline. Because if you didn't sponsor me, I spent my billions and I won my election.
I must recoup.
You do not expect me to
listen to you.
listen to you. You say things, you want to decide how I function as a legislator. When you didn't contribute to my emergence in any way, the parties even tax them heavily for the forms,
For forms,
that
for
they fill.
things.
You can imagine ordinary local government, caucus election. You are taxing people heavily. In some cases, you tell people to bring millions. So those people will not feel responsible to you once they become once they clinch elective office.
yeah.
Now, in those days, people like Awo were able to exert so much influence on their representatives in the National Assembly and everywhere because the party sponsored candidates. Everyone will go to the meeting, you pay your dues. From that money,
Yeah,
the
people-
candidates will be
people, yeah,
sponsored.
that's
Of
it.
course, they still had people like
Who are financiers.
who are financiers, like
Rewane.
Rewane and the rest
Baba
of them.
Balamoshi.
So we still had, but largely parties were funded by the contributions of you and I. But things are falling apart now. I know you are passionate about the fidelity of the process, but you see, electronic voting, technologically driven electoral process can actually work here. But it's the politicians who are terribly against electronic voting.
Scared of it.
They want a process that they can manipulate. So they will tell you, no, we don't want electronic voting. They are the ones who are against it. They want to be able to manipulate the process. The last NBA election, people voted online. They voted online. We should be able to, in the comfort of our homes, determine who becomes our president, who becomes our senator, and all that. It should be that easy, like voting on your phone. And if you don't want to vote on your phone, you want to take in the excitement, the euphoria of an election day, then you go and vote, but not in long queues.
And as you vote, it is counted.
And to
Right,
add to
the
that,
real time. You know
and to
who's
add to
the
that,
winner.
we should not deceive ourselves that it won't work. There was a time in this country that before you want to make a call, you will leave the comfort of your home to go to Nitel, and you will queue.
Yeah.
And people, you will spend
And you
hours
take-
just
you
to
take-
say
you take
hello.
days.
Today, in the comfort of anywhere you be, you can do anything you like with your phone. You can transfer money, you can make calls, you can download films, you can download music.
If elections
So,
become
yeah.
as simple as casting your ballots on your phone, I can tell you that more and more Nigerians will get involved.
Yeah, there'll be an attraction.
The
It's
best
such a
way to go
massive
is
shame.
technology,
It's such a
yes.
massive shame that very, very few people vote in our elections. So we must look at the process again and make it a lot friendlier, especially to our young people.
Because you have
we
to
need
go,
them.
you have to register, then you wait again, then they count, then you go to go and vote.
Mayor, Anambra must be a metaphor for what we do with and to ourselves, especially at election times. I think voter education is still a problem here.
Yeah, to some extent. Yes, to some extent. But I think the average voter knows what he wants. But it's just that for one reason or the other, a lot of them don't get involved in the process. That is why we have to make it in a situation where they will have a sense of belonging and believe in the process. You understand? Because when you elect a governor with 400,000 votes, I don't think
in a state of over 4 million.
I don't think that's a good mandate.
With 400,000 votes. 400,000 votes. That's the total vote.
448,000, but 422.
Yes.
422,000.
Yeah, 422. That's his own vote.
Out of.
No, his own vote is 238.
Yeah, his own vote, 233 here.
So, yes, so if you elect a governor
by less than 300,000.
by 300,000 votes,
in a state of over 4 million.
I don't think that's a good mandate. I don't think that's a good mandate.
It's across board.
It's always been like that. It's always been like that. It's always been like that. We have to do something about it.
It says something that the people know what they want. The people of Anambra showed clearly that they know what they want. The governor of Kogi State traveled to campaign against a governor that pays salaries regularly. He doesn't pay regularly. But the people decided that, look, you are not going to come and teach us who to vote for.
We must stop the show here, but not before commiserating with our friends across the Niger and on account of the death of the former vice president. We're sorry about this, and God rest his soul. That's it for the evening. Please watch a repeat of this program later on tonight at 11. You can also watch Journalist Hangout on other platforms showing on the screen and on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. Our feedback channel is Journalist Hangout at tvcnews.tv. I am Jones Hussein. Many thanks for listening. And by the way, we must thank Mayor Akipwele for coming.
Thank you.
Babajide Otitoji for coming.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye now. See you tomorrow.